We work with our partners at CAL FIRE and EMS, 911 dispatch, and we go through if there's concerns as far as emergency response, vehicle placements, communicating better, opening the lines of communication when we do have traffic-related incidents of a large-scale nature. And it's always good that we have each other there, and we can isolate incidents that have occurred and go over them, and if there's anything that we can improve, those types of activities is something that we do at the coalition also. And that would include rescue and extrication operations that we do just about every day, but sometimes there are some things that we need to coordinate between the various agencies that are involved, and that's what the coalition enables us to do. Emergency medical treatment, ground and air ambulance, transportation, and trauma system. That's all something that's involved in traffic safety. Unfortunately, after an incident has happened, that is something that we need to coordinate our emergency response system. And because we have members from various agencies in our coalition, it's a very effective way to deal with any issues or problems that may come up from our response to emergency incidents. And then there's the everyone else, which is you, the community, the public in general, the schools, the media that we use to publicize our activities, and we do that through various means. And I find that it's a very good way for me to understand, if our message may not be getting out properly. We bounce ideas off of each other as members of the coalition when we meet, and we also talk to each other about how better to publicize, our efforts and what our ultimate goals are. So that's the everyone else part of our coalition. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to allow some of the other members of our coalition to come up and talk specifically about how their involvement with the coalition works and what they've gotten out of their membership. And I'd also like to, before I finish with my remarks, is just to let you know that we do meet once every 2 months here in Mendocino County. Normally, we've been of late meeting at the fire station on North State Street, the CAL FIRE fire station. And I would like to just give you guys all an open invitation to come to any of our meetings if you guys want to just sit in, or if you have a specific topic that you want to bring up. I think it would be a very effective way for you guys to get that message to us. I know that Supervisor Pinchas came to one of our meetings last year and spoke about one of the concerns in his district as far as the Reggae Rising traffic leaving that particular event, how it was bottlenecking in north of Willits on 101, and that was something that we were able to get together on and got a real good traffic plan together. And I think the last 2 years have been very successful at moving traffic through Willits on that particular day. So that's just an example of something that you guys may want to come forward or come to our coalition meetings about. So, and if you'd like, I could have someone, our staff member from EMS, include you guys in our mailing list, and maybe just remind you of when our meeting is going to be and what the agenda is, and if you have any specific agenda item that you want to put on, we'd be glad to do that. So that's something I'd like to offer before I finish my remarks. But so anyway, the next person that's going to be coming up is a member from the Mendocino County Department of Transportation, Bob Parker.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm Bob Parker, the Assistant Transportation Director for the county. And just to echo Captain Madrigal's remarks, attending these meetings are very beneficial to myself and Steve Ford, who's the other member from the Mendocino County Department of Transportation. We think we have a good understanding of what's needed for the road system based on our engineering outlook, but it's very beneficial to hear from the law enforcement and the EMS folks too. and I think we are able to educate them to some aspects also. I'd like to talk about two aspects of the department's involvement with the with the Traffic Safety Coalition. One is on the micro level maybe, and the other on the macro level. First of all, Steve Ford has been instrumental in conducting road system traffic safety reviews for our county-maintained road system. He does this every year, and his efforts are funded principally through MCOG, so that's another aspect of the cooperation among the various members of the coalition. And what Steve does is take the road system, divide it in third, and then he looks at basically the entire third of the whole road system each year on a rotating basis. So he's been about 3 or 4 cycles through our entire road system, which is 1,020 miles. So it's a big undertaking. And he looks at patterns of accidents, not just at one particular location, but how the general locations might be affecting the accidents, or what improvements can we make. And these are pretty straightforward things, like just improvement in the marking and the signage. That has a major effect. And also, in some cases, there are some major improvements that Steve will come up with. A good, for instance, is a project that was done not all that long ago on South State Street, south of Ukiah, and that was about an 0.8 of a mile section just south from the city limits. And since then, Steve has done a little analysis that showed the reduction in accidents that resulted from that project, which was basically putting in a continuous left turn lane both ways. And so in that 6.5-year period, before and after each 78-month period, injury accidents have declined by 76%. They went from 33 down to 8, and total accidents declined 59%, from 56 to 23. So again, just with a relatively minor outlay of funding, we can have a major impact, major positive impact for our road system. The other aspect I wanted to talk about was, still on this one, the traffic safety reviews, was that since they were more fully implemented in 1994, the overall accident rate has gone down by 16% on county-maintained roads. Whereas if you look at the statewide statistics, county-maintained roads have increased by 1%. So again, I'm very appreciative of the work that Steve Ford does for the county here. The other aspect I'd like to talk about is on the macro level. And what I mean by that, well, let's look at the state and national situation on traffic safety. And we do have a traffic safety program that's been part of the reauthorization bill for the transportation funding nationwide. I think we can do more. As Captain Madrigal also mentioned, communications are very important. I think we need to communicate with our neighboring counties and encourage the state to get even more involved with traffic safety. If you look at the statistical cost of an accident, it's humongous. I mean, it's more than $1 million on the average fatal accident for sure. And anything that we can do to reduce these accidents not only will save grief and suffering on the part of families, but it's an economic benefit. I had recently looked at a news release from the Missouri Department of Transportation, and they talk about the success they've had in reducing accidents. And this past year, they've reduced their accidents statewide to less than 1,000. Now, any death is one too many, of course, but to have that success on a statewide basis, to me, is very impressive. And what did they do? They have a synopsis here. They worked on providing smoother pavement on their busiest highways, improving the striping and signage, installing rumble strips, replacing warning signs on many two-lane